If you've been curious about your intuition, your psychic senses, how they work, and how to unlock the power of them, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you're going to have a really good idea as to what your natural intuitive and psychic strengths are and how to access the power of them as a life enhancing tool of navigation and so much more. Welcome back, my friends. If you're new to me, my name is Carrie Konyha, and I am a professional clairvoyant psychic reader who specializes in teaching intuitive development, psychic development, in addition to shamanic energy healing arts to intuitive energy healing practitioners here in Sedona. Today, we're talking about the intuitive gifts, the psychic gifts, what they are, how to use them, how to unlock the power of them. Now, this is kind of a sequel to a video that I have here on my channel that's currently one of the most popular videos on my channel that is a test that enables you to discover what your natural strengths are. So I'll link that up here. You can refer to that as well. Today, we're diving into the 4 main intuitive and psychic senses, which sometimes are also referred to as the clairs. The word clair is typically put at the beginning of the 4 main psychic senses, and it's a word that means clear. So clairvoyance is intuitive or psychic seeing. Clairaudience is intuitive or psychic hearing. Clairsentience is intuitive or psychic sensing and feeling, and claircognizance is intuitive or psychic knowing. Now, what's one thing that we notice about what I just described? Seeing, feeling, hearing. That these are all basically connected to our physical senses. Essentially, our psychic senses are really just the subtle energy extension of our physical senses. We have physical seeing, we have psychic seeing, we have physical hearing, we have psychic hearing, we have our physical sense of touch, and we have our psychic sense of sensing and feeling. And then we also have our intuitive sense of knowing. And it's even possible to taste and smell things psychically as well. But today we're going to focus on the main 4, which is seeing, sensing, hearing, and knowing. And why is it important for you to know this? Our intuition is our biggest tool for navigation in our life. It is essentially the language that our soul uses to communicate with our awareness about things like what's aligned for us, what's not aligned for us, what a pathway of guidance may or may not be for us, and so much more. For example, for those of you who are energy healing practitioners or studying to become energy healing practitioners, you have to be dialed into your intuition if you want to be effective, because we are working on those subtle energy levels, which again is a part of what I specialize in teaching here at my healing center in Sedona. So there's many reasons as to why you should prioritize getting to know your psychic senses. Essentially, when you're tapped into your psychic senses, your intuitive senses, ultimately you have the advantage of gaining an enhanced awareness of whatever the right now energy is at any given moment that comes beyond what you can discern from your physical senses, which literally does give you an advantage in many, if not every arena in life. Now, let me say here, if the intuitive senses or psychic senses are natural, why are they sometimes referred to as gifts? That's because while it is a part of human nature to have intuitive senses, just like it's a part of human nature to have our physical senses, everybody will be naturally strong in at least one of the senses, if not more. And so we could say that that's like a gifted sense of yours. I'm going to give you an overall little shortcut to start with before we delve into clairsentience here, actually, to give you an idea of beginning to consider what you suspect you might be strong in naturally. So People who have photographic memories and are very visual in their memory recall, or visually creative, visionary people, are going to have a tendency to be naturally strong in clairvoyance, psychic seeing. People who are more analytical are going to have a tendency to be naturally strong in psychic hearing and knowing, while people who are very sensing, feeling, empathic people are naturally going to have a tendency to be clairsentient, which is the intuitive or psychic sensing or feeling. And that's the sense that we're going to start with, because it's a sense that often is the easiest to develop. And this is why. Our skin is our largest sensory organ, and our psychic senses and intuitive senses are connected to our nervous system. We literally have aspects of our nervous system that respond to subtle energy dynamics unconsciously before we're ever consciously aware of them. And that is a function of our intuition at play, especially in the clairsentient or the intuitive or psychic sensing faculty. Now, you'll notice that I keep using the word intuition and psychic, flip flopping. What's the difference between the two? Intuition is when you have an intuitive sense about something within yourself, about yourself, for yourself. It's your spirit, your soul speaking to you, giving you information about the subtle energy dynamics of what you're experiencing. And it's also the language that our soul uses to have two-way communication with the divine. So if we're speaking of intuition, it's when you're having intuitive impressions within you, about your path. It becomes psychic when it gets a little bit more detailed, and it also is connected to insights that you get psychically with things outside of you, like other people's situations and things like that. So psychic ability is like the supercharged, refined extension of intuition. But we all have intuition. And just like everything else that we practice in life, we can sharpen it and hone it and develop it. Just like you would physically work out with weights or what have you, exercise to build your muscles, there's exercises that you can do to sharpen and hone your intuition and your psychic senses. And this is a part of what I specialize in teaching in my in-person trainings and my online course. Anyway, let's delve into clairsentience here, psychic sensing. I'm going to talk about for each sense what the advantages of each sense are, what the challenges of each sense is, and then tips that will help you to navigate those challenges and begin to cultivate your intuition. So clairsentience, psychic sensing or feeling. The advantage is that it's often the easiest to develop because of what I already described. Our skin is our largest sensory organ, and it's easy for us to pick up vibes about things. Clairsentience is often the easiest to begin with developing because it's naturally prominent in many people. It is the best sense for sensing subtle energy dynamics, and it's the best sense for discerning personal safety. We've all had instances where we suddenly have some type of alarm going off, where we have a sense of not being completely safe and we immediately respond or react to that. That's an instance of your intuition at play. We've all heard of people where they were in line to get on an airplane and suddenly had a feeling that they shouldn't get on that airplane, and then something happened with that flight, maybe a delay or a setback or something even worse. Now let's talk about what the challenges are of clairsentience. The biggest challenge is that it can be overwhelming because you literally are feeling things. With me, when I feel something, if I'm getting a psychic impression from somebody on a sensing feeling level, Like I literally feel it in me as if it's my own. And that's how I know what's going on. Whether it's joy, whether it's sadness, whether it's a physical symptom of something. And so for me, I have a lot of training and I know how to navigate these things and I'm cut out for it. But for some people, it can lead to what's called empathic distress. I actually have an entire video here on my channel called something about like uh, navigating empathic distress. I'll try to link that around here as well. So that's the biggest challenge. There can be an emotional overwhelm or an feeling of being overloaded by what you're sensing and feeling energetically around you. It can be the hardest sense to shut down or ignore because of the feeling component. If you're not really mindful about setting boundaries, clearing your energy field, it can negatively impact the well-being of a person. Having said that, let's talk about some tips that will help you to strengthen your clairsentience. I would say every single person in the world that identifies as an empath is naturally going to be really gifted and strong in intuitive sensing, psychic sensing, clairsentience. So, tips around navigating the advantages and the challenges. One is to be really strong in establishing energetic boundaries and parameters for yourself. That means being really aware of when you're purposely choosing to merge and meld with someone else's energy, but then also having the ability to dim that down when you want to. I have another video here on my channel called How to Expand Your Energy Field and Feel More Confident, which actually is an energetic boundary setting practices that you can do. So I'll link that up here as well. Practicing grounding and regularly clearing your energy can help with the challenge of overload that can happen. Now, I'm not going to go into massive details here, but each of the psychic senses has what we call a reception area that is basically connected to the chakra system. The reception area for clairsentience is the solar plexus chakra. And so practice dropping your awareness into the solar plexus chakra for sensing yes, no, true, false, aligned, not aligned is something that you can practice as well. A quick practice that I typically guide my students through involves, and you can do this on your own after the video, going into a light little space of meditation, dropping your awareness into the solar plexus chakra, and just noticing what it feels like in your solar plexus chakra when you tell yourself something true, like your full name, full birth date, and tell yourself something untrue, like a fake name or fake birth date. And just feel any subtle differences that you can feel when you're telling yourself something that is true and something that is not true. And this is like an actual exercise that you can do to strengthen your awareness around how your clairsentience is talking to you. Now, when you get clairsentient incoming messages intuitively, it's not limited to feeling it in the solar plexus chakra. This is just the reception area to turn it up or down. And I say turn it up or down because for me personally, I can't really turn it 100% on or off. It's either up or down. And the switch of that is based on my putting my presence and awareness into that sense or not. Let's go ahead and move into clairvoyance, which is psychic seeing. The reception area is the third eye chakra. Now, I'm going to offer some tips on how to develop this in a moment, but let's talk about the advantages and the challenges first. The best advantage is that the best for seeing details of a situation. It's also the best for literally seeing energy bodies, the aura of living things. And of course, it's the best for remote viewing, which is where you're projecting your awareness to a different space or time and seeing what's going on in that location. The challenges are this. One clairvoyant vision can have more than one facet of significance or meaning. Just like a dream that we dream at night, like a single dream can have more than one meaning, one clairvoyant vision can have more than one meaning. And so it's about navigating that and just like feeling around into that. And the more you practice, the better it's going to get. Also, the challenge of clairvoyance is the imagery that you see in your mind's eye can be literal. It can be like a symbolic shorthand that's telling you a bunch of information at once, and there can be components of both. But there's ways to navigate. You just simply ask your awareness, is this literal? Is it symbolic? If it's symbolic, what is it symbolic of? And are there components of both? And you can ask to be shown additional images that give you further information as well. So that's a way to navigate that particular challenge. Another challenge is that can be difficult to distinguish from your own imagination. So here's the difference. When you're imagining something, you're purposely telling yourself what to envision. And in fact, visualization exercises are the best way to develop your clairvoyance. The difference between an incoming clairvoyant message and your imagination is that if you're imagining something, you're purposely telling yourself what to imagine in your mind's eye. If it's a clairvoyant image, you first have brought yourself into a space of neutral awareness and you're just allowing information to neutrally come in the form of a vision without you instructing as to exactly what the vision is that you're trying to imagine. So I hope that makes sense the way I'm explaining it, but it is one of the challenges to navigate. I promise you, over time with practice, you'll get a handle on it and there won't be so much distrusting of it, which is the other challenge that comes because it can be symbolic, because at first it can be difficult to distinguish between your imagination and your true clairvoyance. It can be slow to trust, but again, over time, it will develop. Now, the best tip that I have for developing your clairvoyance is literally doing visualization exercises. Again, I'm going to let you practice this on your own rather than guiding you through it here. But the main exercise that I guide my students through is this. I'm using a fruit that is the color of each chakra. Okay, so it can be red apple, orange, lemon, lime, blueberries, plums. Usually for the crown chakra, I just forget all the fruit and do like a clear quartz crystal. But it's about holding your vision of those different fruits in your mind's eye without letting your mind wander, right? And you're inwardly seeing the fruit as a 3D image where you're seeing the color, the texture, the shape, the size. You're practicing turning it, looking at it in different directions without your mind wandering, but it really only takes like 15, 20 seconds of doing each one and practicing that. You're literally practicing your visualization skills, which is sharpening your clairvoyant muscles. Meditating on the third eye chakra, there's a candle gazing meditation that you can do that in yoga is for activating the third eye chakra. And then paying attention to your dream time and doing dream journaling, because dreams are connected to visualization, can also help train your clairvoyance. Okay, clairaudience, psychic hearing. The reception area for psychic hearing is in your head, right above your ears in the soft temple area. Now I'm going to have you notice this to access that. When you're hearing my voice, you're hearing me with, your eardrum. If I stop talking and guide you to hum a favorite song or talk to yourself in your head for a moment, where are you hearing it? In here. Placing your attention here is a way to activate your clairaudience. Now let's talk about the advantages, the challenges, and the tips. Probably the best advantage is that clairaudience is best for receiving specific answers and guidance. Yes, no, go this way. Yes, do this. Don't do this. This is exactly what the guidance is. It's also the best sense for channeling higher guidance from your spirit guides, guardian angels, cosmic consciousness. And it's what's used for telepathic sending and receiving messages between you and another person. The main challenge is distinguishing clairaudience between your own internal chatter. So anytime you're accessing your intuitive skills, you have to first take a space to come into a relaxed, meditative, neutral state of awareness first. If you're already in a space where your like head is full of mental chatter, that overthinking is definitely going to naturally block your clairaudience. So you have to calm the mind first. Many of the other videos that I have on my Empowering Intuition playlist here on my channel give additional tips with some of these things that I'm talking about. So you can like check out those for more insights as well. I do have an online self-study video course that you can take. I'll make sure that the link is below. And I do offer in-person trainings in awakening intuition at my own healing center in Sedona. And you can have me come to your community for a weekend immersion as well. Okay, let's get back into this. Tips for accessing your clairaudience. The main one that I use with my students is this. In the same way that I just guided you through paying attention to where you hear your own internal chatter, come into that space within your awareness, in your inner ear, while you're listening to music, and purposely focus on the different instruments in the literal music that you're hearing, right? So oftentimes in music, there's going to be a prominent instrument in the foreground, which might be the singer's voice, a guitar, something like that. But if you pay attention to the instruments that are in the more subtle, nuanced instruments in the background, with you putting your attention there, suddenly that little subtle, nuanced instrument in the background is going to come front and center, and it's going to sound like it's the main instrument. This is you practicing hearing between the lines of what's being said and hearing what's not being said, so to speak. So this is just an exercise that strengthens your ability to tune into the subtle dimensions of what's being said or not said. So this is one of the main exercises that you can do to strengthen your clairaudience. This would be in the realm of a listening practice. Spending time in quiet solitude and meditation is also a good way really to develop all of the senses, because we have to be able to shift into that meditative state of being in order to access any of our intuitive senses. Now, last one we're going to talk about today, claircognizance, intuitive or psychic knowing. The reception area for this center can be seen as being like the back of the head around the occipital bone and above that. Placing your attention there amplifies your intuitive knowing awareness. Now, this is when claircognizance is when you just know something. You don't know how you know. There's no other supporting evidence like a feeling or a vision or words. You just know it. So one of the advantages of claircognizance is the certainty that comes with just this very deep sense of knowing. Have you ever had that in your life? If so, let me know in the comments below. It's one of the senses that can be one of the more anomalous ones because of the fact that there's no extra supporting evidence, so to speak, that comes with it, yet that wave of knowing is strong. One of the other advantages of claircognizance is it's the quickest of the senses. Boom, you just know. This is also the sense that is best for precognition, meaning you know something before it's going to happen. This is similar to a premonition. However, a premonition typically involves a visual sense and so is more connected to clairvoyance. Have you ever had a precognitive awareness or a premonition about something? Share in the comments and let me know what that was. And if you have questions about it, I'm happy to address those questions. It may feel difficult to trust at first, but over time, the more check marks you have of, yep, I knew this and then it happened, the more you're going to recognize the unique energetic feeling quality that comes with that. And you'll be able to recognize it, and the doubting about it will stop. The tips to help develop: trusting your first impressions, literally practicing being aware, consciously taking note of what your first impressions are and trusting them. Journaling about any time you have an intuition about anything, journaling what the intuition was, how you got it. Did you see it? Did you feel it? Did you sense it? Did you hear it? And then what was the outcome or the result of you honoring that intuition and following up with it? Or what was the result of ignoring it? Keeping a record or journal of your intuitions when they happen is a good way to start. And then over time, this can turn into purposely accessing your intuition daily. Just doing a little check-in with yourself every morning, asking your intuition. Once you bring yourself into that state of relaxed, neutral, open awareness, just ask your intuition, what do you need me to know or want to tell me today, in general or about a particular thing in your life? And you can just navigate through your senses. Is my intuition telling me something in the form of a visual image, of a sense? Am I hearing anything? Am I knowing anything? Checking in with yourself. That's essentially what I'm doing when I do psychic readings with clients every day. I'm just navigating through my own psychic senses for the people that I sit with. What am I hearing for this person? What am I seeing for this person? What am I sensing? What am I feeling? What waves of knowingness are coming in? What's channeling through? And you can do all of this for yourself and others if you feel guided on that path as well. It's just a matter of strengthening and cultivating confidence and trust. It's also about not making it be about you in an ego way, especially if you're getting intuitive information for other people. It's you taking your own personal ego out of the way and just being a conduit for spirit. And I want to say here right now, for those of you who might be exploring accessing your intuition for other people, just because we are intuitive doesn't mean that we have the right to psychically pry or invade other people's privacy. So if you feel like you're getting an intuitive impression for a person, you should always ask their permission first before you just blurt out whatever you think you're getting for them. Everybody's going to have at least one intuitive strength. Everybody will have one at least. Some people are strong in 2 or 3 or all 4 of them. I feel like all of my 4 main ones are equally developed, but that's after, for one, being born naturally really intuitive and having a lot of training in my life and literally doing thousands and thousands of readings over the past 40 years that I've been a professional psychic. It is a passion of mine to train other people to access their intuitive gifts, because even if you're not going to use it in any type of professional capacity, just using it as your life enhancing tool especially in this day and age when there's so much misinformation being propagated out there. Utilizing your intuition to really stay in your own lane and what's aligned for you is the best realm of intelligence that we have access to. In fact, did you know that intuition is considered to be one of the higher mental faculties, right along with memory, reason, logic? 50 years ago and beyond that, intuition was more anomalous than it is now. But with the advancement of technology, science, research, it's literally a proven faculty that we have. And it's one that still is largely underdeveloped because we're just now coming into an era where intuition is more accepted as a natural part of human nature. So, you being a person who is taking it upon yourself to learn about and strengthen your intuition now is you being on the forefront of the leading edge of awareness that ultimately will have the ability to support the evolution of humanity with that leading edge of your intuition. So, which of the intuitive psychic senses do you most recognize as a strength within yourself? Tell us in the comments below. Share your stories. I love hearing them. And if you love this type of content, take a moment to subscribe, like the video, share the video with your friends. I'm right now working on a new series of videos that I'm going to be uploading to my Empowering Intuition playlist here on my channel as we roll throughout fall and winter. So I invite you all to stay connected. All my love, blessings, namaste, everyone, and I'm going to see you in the next video.